Now, don't worry, I'm not going to keep you too long. It is fairly short and sweet today. We've still got, what is that, 7 hours and 12 minutes to celebrate St. Patrick's Day. So we'll get through this fairly quickly and hopefully won't be keeping anyone too late. So today I want to talk a little bit about bringing Fusion to the UK. And I thought, actually, on reflection, as we've listened to all the great presentations today, that's a little bit different, actually, from what we've talked about. We've been talking about looking to the EU, bringing that to the UK, and what can we learn from there. And you'll sort of see as we go through today, this is a little bit of celebration of what we've sort of really led in the UK and how we're taking that around the world ultimately. And we are learning a lot from the other countries we're deploying this in as well, so there are lessons learned, and I'll pick some of those out today. But yeah, my presentation today, I thought I'd do the 5 W's and the H, the who, the what, the where, the when, and the why. And if we have time, we'll get to the H. We'll see how that goes. But it is short and sweet. Let's see how we get on today. So ultimately, who's involved in Fusion? This is our new network adaptive control system. And ultimately, we've been working with Transport for London on this. This dates back a few years to when we were creating our partnership with them in 2018. They were looking for a modern network adaptive control system to replace a lot of their sites. They've got 5,500 sites connected into our UTC system. And we wanted to really sort of see how could we modernize that, move away from the likes of the traditional Scoot approach, moving towards the sort of multimodal, thinking about individual objects, individual road users moving through the network. And one of their goals when they set this out wasn't about create this bespoke system that's only going to be used in London. We wanted to make sure it was actually applicable for everyone. We wanted to be able to take this out and take it globally, not just in the UK. We wanted to take it out, and that was the aim, ultimately, from the very start. And we've iterated with Transport for London. They are co-owners, and it's a good partnership that we've worked together for these last few years. And ultimately, we've been able to go through that sort of agile, we learn, we try something, we release a new feature, they give feedback, we've been able to continue improving. So then ultimately, be able to bring that to everyone, we can sort of share those benefits and learn from the collaboration that we've got. So the who, Yunex is involved with Transport for London, but it's aimed for everyone, ultimately. And what problems are we trying to solve? These will definitely align from what some of the speakers have already said earlier today, thinking about road safety for all different road users. We heard from Hackney earlier talking about, was it 87% of sustainable modes of transport being used. It's not all about the car. We've got to think about other modes of transport as well, making sure that pedestrians can safely cross the road. We've got to think about air quality and the emissions and the impacts. We want to make sure the road network is running as efficiently as possible so you aren't having this stop-start behavior running through the network. We've got the complexity of ultimately different modes of transport going through the network as well. It's not just car is king. You've probably heard me say that before if I've done a presentation and I've talked about Fusion. It is looking to other modes of transport and making sure we can consider those within the systems that we use. And again, big topic for today and this whole TTF live is connectivity and the sort of infrastructure for all road users and how we can bring that data in and sort of fuse it together and make use of it and look at this sort of spatial model, not just think about the theoretical what the demand is. So how can we actually bring in that information and use it across the network? This is a little bit too gimmicky, but I like it anyway. Our answer, traffic Fusion. So that's, as I say, working with Transport for London. So we've done the who, we've done the what. Ultimately, now thinking about the where can we actually apply this? As we've been deploying this in London, we've been seeing they've done about 400 sites configured now, and we've got it rolled out in other places as well, in some of our other with some of our other customers. And we're seeing this in the traditional regions, thinking about the traditional sort of Scoot regions, thinking about neighbouring junctions, and ultimately how can we sort of optimise that part of the road network, signalised roundabouts, neighbouring intersections. In the UK market, this is rolled out alongside our UTC system. So we're very much thinking about, if you're an existing sort of customer with UTC and how you can sort of manage your road network there, you can roll this out region by region, and we have a few customers in the audience today that are very much doing that and seeing the benefits of Fusion being able to impact their regions. And this detection technology, we haven't talked a lot about that today, but local authorities don't have the budget to go and rip up all their existing detectors. They've got to use what they've got. So those existing scoot loops, those existing sort of radar sensors that are there, we're being able to reuse that from day one. As we look to the future, and again, we talk about some of these different standards, some of the towpath standards that are out there, about the enhanced detectors and how we can bring that information in. And we're actively working on that and seeing how we bring that information into the central systems. But there's some standards to sort of follow this path, and we want to see the appetite from the market that can sort of say, yes, you can get enhanced detector data into the outstations, but then what about sharing that back to the central systems and doing that in a coordinated way? So sort of squeeze that in a little bit, but that's where Fusion is suitable as such. So sort of when was it deployed, and maybe I've done that a little bit in an interesting way, but trying to say when, thinking about over the last 12 months, we've had a lot of different deployments. And this is us taking our technology that was sort of developed within the UK and taking it overseas ultimately. We've had it in the UK, we've deployed it in mainland Europe, in the Middle East, in America. So ultimately, we're getting lots of feedback. We've had about 600 sites configured over the last 12 months. Probably more since I've written that. But anyway, we're getting lots of good, valuable feedback. And I guess a challenge to put out to this audience is what we get asked for in other countries is definitely different from what it is in the UK. Yes, we can bring the core technology, the adaptions, the benefits that brings, but the connectivity requests are different. A lot of these other in Central Europe, especially in the Middle East, they want to see connected vehicle use cases, and that's what we're able to then deliver with Fusion, but we don't necessarily see all the same requests in the UK, and it is how do we make sure we're continuing to sort of push the boundaries and be involved. And I think hearing some of that stuff just before me of, some of those C-Roads projects and so on, of how we sort of take that forward and actually have the right frameworks in place in the UK to be able to bring that to the UK market, because there are different demands in different countries. So yeah, we've been rolling it out quite a lot over the last 12 months, getting lots of good feedback. Put in a few choice pictures. You might see Buckingham Palace in there, the very important Tunnocks factory in Scotland. We've got it running there. We've got lots of different pictures. We've been rolling out in lots of areas and getting, as I say, really valuable feedback and some good success stories. So I guess the fundamental thing for local authorities out there, they might be saying, well, why should I care? Why am I interested in this? Thinking about that important fifth, the why. Ultimately, we do have a bit of a challenge in our industry, upskilling the next wave of traffic engineers and how they can make sure they use it. And that was one of our big requirements from day one as well. Thinking about how we can make it intuitive, easy to configure, highly adaptable, they can customize it. It is an engineering tool that someone can use, and it's sort of ready for the 21st century. So we've modernized displays, made it as easy to use and easy to change and adapt and integrate within your sort of existing systems, making sure it can have strategies running at different times of day, and you can ultimately adapt it as much as you want to. The multimodal side has been a big aspect for us from the start. Thinking about, as at certain parts of the city, you might say, I need to just get as many cars through as possible, and you can configure it to do that. Other parts of the network, you might want to say, I need to get pedestrians getting offered green as often as possible, and again, you'll be able to do that. So it's very customizable to be able to make sure that you can maximize the different modes that are using your road network. And we've had various trials and case studies written up now and published on websites and whatnot, but we're able to see some really good performance benefits as well, ultimately, of using Fusion from a software change, using the existing hardware on street, having new algorithms in place. We're able to see some good efficiency gains coming out of the system. And I thought I would steal this from Transport for London, who they did a presentation a couple of weeks back at our user groups, and they're really sort of saying some really useful feedback. Their users were being able to configure it, 30% faster. They'll be able to roll this out in a more easy and intuitive way. And there's lessons learned there as well, don't get me wrong. But ultimately, there is a committed roadmap with Transport for London. And they've launched their London on the Move, and one of the things that they want to see some big differences across London is using Fusion and bringing that information to really help, or using the system to ultimately help bring benefits, see reductions in journey times across the network, being able to think about that multimodal need. So they are fully committed to it, as are we, unsurprisingly, and sort of bringing that information together, bringing those use cases together kind of helps us then continue to evolve Fusion. And we've got, our committed roadmap as we're sort of moving forward. I can talk detail if anyone wants to come see me at the stand, but just things to start flagging a little bit of thinking about how can we optimize those isolated sites, and sort of thinking about how we do that a little bit differently. Traditionally, there's been the sort of network adaptive and isolated systems. How do we start bringing that together and sort of unify the system and make it a little bit easier for people to use and make it applicable in all different opportunities? So I've covered hopefully the who, what, where, when, and why. That just leaves the how. But it's almost 5 o'clock, and I don't want to keep these too much longer. That may not reflect our actual stand that's out there, but do come and see us. It would be good to chat about it. If you have any questions, I'd be very happy to take them.